Today is December 27th. Welcome to Big Book Daily. My name is Rob. I am an alcoholic. It is a thrill, honor, and joy to be here with you today as we journey through the Big Book of Alcoholics Anonymous and the 12 Steps and 12 Traditions. Today at the Big Book, we're going to continue our journey through Chapter 11, A Vision for You. We'll be reading page 160. At the 12 and 12, we are on the final tradition, tradition number 12. We'll be reading page 184, and we'll read the 24 hours a day in daily reflection. So with that, hope you all are doing well this morning, my friends. Life is good over here. We've been given another set of 24 hours. Brand new set, clean slate, another chance to do the next right thing. So let's get to the good stuff. Alright, if you recall from yesterday's reading, we were at a point where Bill W., it all started with him, although this chapter kind of leaves it anonymous. He meets Dr. Bob, eventually they meet Bill Dotson and the Devil May Care chap and a few others, and this thing's really growing. So we left off at a point where outsiders are interested. So this is page 160. Outsiders became interested. One man and his wife placed their large home at the disposal of this strangely assorted crowd. This couple has since become so fascinated they have dedicated their home to the work. Many a distracted wife has visited this house to find loving and understanding companionship among women who know her problem, to hear from the list of their husbands what had happened to them, to be advised how her own wayward mate might be hospitalized and approached when next he stumbled. Many a man, yet dazed from his hospital experience, has stepped over to the threshold of that home into freedom. Many an alcoholic who entered there came away with an answer. He succumbed to that gay crowd inside, who laughed at their own misfortunes and understood his. Impressed by those who visited him at the hospital, he capitulated entirely when, later, in an upper room of this house, he heard the story of some man whose experience closely tallied with his own. The expression on the faces of the women, the indefinable something in the eyes of the men, the stimulating and electric atmosphere of the place conspired to let him know that here was haven at last. The very practical approach to his problems, the absence of intolerance of any kind, the informality, the genuine democracy, the uncanny understanding which these people had were irresistible. He and his wife would leave elated by the thought of what they could now do for some stricken acquaintance in his family. They knew they had a host of new friends. It seemed that they had known these strangers always. They'd seen miracles, and one was to come to them. They had visioned the great reality, their loving and all-powerful Creator. Out of the 12 and 12 are on Tradition 12. Anonymity is the spiritual foundation of all our traditions, ever reminding us to place principles before personalities. The spiritual substance of anonymity is sacrifice. Because AA's 12 traditions repeatedly ask us to give up personal desires for the common good, we realize that the sacrificial spirit, well symbolized by anonymity, is the foundation of them all. It is AA's proved willingness to make these sacrifices that gives people their high confidence in our future. But in the beginning, anonymity was not born of confidence. It was a child of our early fears. Our first nameless groups of Alcoholics Anonymous were secret societies. New prospects could find us only through a few trusted friends. The bare hint of publicity, even for our work, shocked us. Though ex-drinkers, we still thought that we had to hide from public distrust and contempt. When the Big Book appeared in 1939, we called it Alcoholics Anonymous. Its foreword made this revealing statement. It is important that we remain anonymous because we're too few at present to handle the overwhelming number of personal appeals which may result from this publication. Being mostly business or professional folk, we cannot well carry on our occupations in such an event. Between these lines, it's easy to read our fear that large numbers of incoming people might break our anonymity wide open. 24 hours a day, December 27th. AA thought for the day. I need the AA principles for the development of the buried life within me. That good life, which I had misplaced but which I found again in this fellowship. The life within me is developing slowly but surely with many setbacks, many mistakes, many failures, but still developing. As long as I stick close to AA, my life will go on developing, and I cannot yet know what it will be. But I do know that it will be good. That's all I want to know. It will be good. Am I thanking God for AA? Meditation for the day. Build your life on the firm foundation of true gratitude to God for all His blessings and true humility because of your unworthiness of these blessings. Build the frame of your life out of self-discipline. Never let yourself get selfish or lazy or contented with yourself. Build the walls of your life out of service to others, helping them find the way to live. Build the roof of your life out of prayer and quiet times, waiting for God's guidance from above. Build a garden around your life out of peace of mind and serenity and a sure faith. Prayer for the day. I pray that I may build my life on AA principles. I pray that it may be a good building when my work is finished. Daily Reflection, December 27th. Problem solving. Quite as important was the discovery that spiritual principles would solve all my problems. Alcoholics Anonymous, page 42. Through the recovery process described in the Big Book, I've come to realize that the same instructions that work on my alcoholism work on much more. Whenever I am angry or frustrated, I consider the matter a manifestation of the main problem within me, alcoholism. As I walk through the steps, my difficulty is usually dealt with long before I reach the 12th suggestion, and those difficulties that persist are remedied when I make an effort to carry the message to someone else. These principles do solve my problems. I have not encountered an exception, and I have been brought to a way of living which is satisfying and useful. Alright my friends, that concludes today's reading, and buddy do I love all the readings today. It's hard to pick one, but if I had to pick one, I guess I'd go with the Big Book. I love the summary of how I'm sure many people in the early days of AA felt when they joined these fellowships for the first time. You know, right here, the absence of intolerance of any kind, the informality, the genuine democracy, the uncanny understanding which these people had were irresistible. That was me. When I first started going to some of these fellowships, I didn't know how they were going to take me. And I thought maybe I was the only one. And from day one, I remember them saying, "We're so glad you're here. Listen for the similarities instead of the differences and keep coming back. You learn as you go." All the stuff that I would eventually know as powerful cliches within these fellowships. I'm hearing these for the first time and trying to listen to them. And I heard the similarities. And then eventually I had enough courage to speak. And instead of getting the feeling of, wow, I'm the only one who feels this way, I'll never share again, it was more like gentle nods and some chuckles like, yep, I've done that. I've done worse. And for me, that was irresistible. There was something special about these groups that made me feel like, holy cow, I found my people. And then right here, 161, they knew they had a host of new friends. That's how I feel. And as I record this podcast and I hear from people all around the world, it's the same thing. I have new friends. Thanks to this common problem that we all share and a common solution that we all share, thanks to the program and the Fellowships of Recovery. They had seen miracles, and one was to come to them. They had visioned the great reality, their loving and all-powerful Creator. Last thing I'll say, and I've said it many times, is I believed in God before the program, but my relationship with my higher power has grown exponentially since. And just like the 24 hours a day, I believe it was, says, I'm going to make many mistakes between now and the time I hit glory, but that's okay. I'm just going to keep trying to work the program to the best of my ability and keep trying to cultivate that relationship between myself and my higher power. But guys, I've rambled on enough. That's all we have time for today. I hope you all have a great one. And as always, if we were given another set of 24 hours, I sincerely look forward to seeing you right back here tomorrow.